Hey everybody, welcome to the Bowling Fools YouTube page. So I just thought I'd let everybody know that the new version 2 jigs are in as of today, April 11th. And I've got 10 made so far, so here's what they look like. So this is the stack. I made 9 of them. I kept one for myself. And this is everything that's going to be included in the jig. So this is a bowling ball jig that I had custom made. So the changes from the last one, this is version 2, so there's a couple of changes that I made from the previous one that make it a little bit easier to use and also easier for PSOs to use. So the previous version was only compatible with a Vevor milling table. And I made it accessible to actually mill press tables that your PSO would have. So like your Jet mill press, other top brands mill press. I've made it so that you can use those as well too. So I've included a few extra hardware. I did some modifications to the jig itself, to the bottom plate and top plate, and I want to go over what changes those are. So here's the top plate. So one thing I did, I'll kind of show you the old one. So here's the old one right here. And so you kind of had to raise this up all the way or take one side off. It was kind of a pain in the butt to take it off. So what I had done was have these angles that you can just twist it on and off very easily. And I'm going to show you how this all works, but I want to kind of go through the basic with the parts and everything. So this is the top plate. That's actually where it fits in and fits in flush with a bowling ball right here. And then the top plate adjustments I put a groove in here for the washer to fit in. Boom. So now once you have this on the rods, it's actually going to be locked in here with this washer that fits in flush there. So one of the problems I had with the other one, as you can see, it just kind of marked it. Not a huge deal. It didn't make grooves or anything, but it just put some marks on there. And so I just told the machinist to go ahead and just machine those out so this fits in perfectly, so it will prevent any type of premature wear. But if you do have the old one and this happens, not a big deal. I can't really even feel the marks. It's just visible marks. So if you want to take sandpaper, you can do that too, but it's more just function than anything. So that's the top jig. So that's pretty much the only difference is I have it angled versus that one, right? So you can easily just turn it off, turn it to take it off or adjust it. Here's the bottom plate. So the bottom plate on the old one looks like this. So I had a rubber O-ring and I decided we don't really need the rubber O-ring. So I took that off and I only had 2 holes right here for the Vevor milling table. So it was pretty much limited to anybody that just had a Vevor milling table. The new one has multiple holes. So these holes right here are designed for your Jet mill press table. And these holes I had here are designed for your Vevor milling table. So these will fit on any of your mill presses that are going to be found at the PSOs, any brand. I've checked them all out and they fit perfectly. So one thing I've included with those are the 1/2-inch bolts with washers and lock nuts, and you'll put that in there like that. And I also included some T-nuts here. There's 4 T-nuts that will fit that as well too. So you just slide these in the milling table and bolt it down into place. And I also included the 3/8 bolts for if you have the Vevor milling table, it fits in there perfectly. And I've also included the 3/8 T-nuts as well too that I'll include in the package too. Just in case you do have either or, I'll include everything. Let's go over here to the hardware. So I have 2 rods, so threaded rods that I've grinded down on the end to make it nice and easy to screw in. We'll kind of show you right here. It just kind of goes in like that. All right, and then I've got the threaded couplers that go on the bottom of that, along with the washers and lock washers. And then I also have the threaded knobs here for the top, and the lock nuts right here too. And I'll kind of show you what that looks like. But that's what the whole kit and caboodle looks like. Also, the changes I made too is I made a bowl right here, or I had the bowl made here, and everything's round, kind of rounded, so that it won't scratch your ball, won't put any marks on your ball. And that's the difference. So you don't have to worry about replacing O-rings or anything like that. You have the option, if you don't like this, you want to put rubber down on there, you can. I've drilled a couple balls so far, and the ball does not move when it's cinched down, so I do not think a rubber O-ring is needed. But I may include small pieces of rubber if you want to put it on there. You're more than welcome to. And that's it. So the next part of the video, I'm going to show actually drilling a ball with a new jig and show you how that all works. All right, welcome to part 2 of the video. I just wanted to do a quick demonstration on how to install the bottom plate onto your table here. So if you have the Vevor milling table, you're just going to use these 4 holes right here instead of these. If you have a professional mill table, like a mill press, like a Jet or all the other top brands, this is going to fit flush in with your grooves on your table. And that's where you're going to fit those in. And I have the 1/2-inch nuts there, or 1/2-inch bolts there as well too. So you have your T-nut here, and you just kind of slide it in. You can get, you know, one of these out, like an Allen key if you have one of that, or a small screwdriver, and just line it up. And then you're just going to screw it in. And another thing you want to take into consideration too is you want to make sure that this bottom plate is zeroed out with your table. And what I mean by that is, I'll show you right here. So I have the plug cutter on here, and I'll show you this way. Now one thing you want to do is you want to bring this down so that you see no gap, no air or no light on the other side of that plug cutter. And that's for the x-axis, all right? X-axis goes this way, and y-axis goes forward and backwards. So you do the same thing, right? And look at that, no gap, no light on either side. And so what you want to do is have these all loosened up, right? Have these all loosened up, and then adjust the bottom plate so that you can get this zeroed out without even really messing too much with the actual table itself. So if you have a drill press table like mine, where you can adjust it in the back, right? You can adjust up and down, and then lock it down in place with that little knob right there. So what I did is I just moved this, and I pretty much have this set all the way back. Yours may be a little different, but I just pushed it all the way to the rear, tightened the bolts down, and we were good to go. And it ended up being 0-0, and you'll check that with your plug cutter. So I'm going to demonstrate, and I'm going to use this sample ball that my brother-in-law gave me to practice on. So I just made some simple lines. One cool thing about not having a rubber O-ring at the bottom too is you can easily slide it when you need to adjust, right? Oh, so another thing too is these are the threaded rods, right? So I have 2 nuts that I'll include with these, and you just bring these down. I think I have these at 7 1/4 up from the bottom here. Yours may be different if you have like a Jet mill press. So I have a washer, a lock washer, and a threaded coupler here. And this rod goes all the way down and touches that, right? If you have the Jet mill press table or any kind of other mill press, this rod is only going to go down to where it stops. It's going to stop at the bottom of the bottom plate here. You don't think you can have room to go all the way down. You may not have that middle section there, and that's not a big deal. It's still going to work. So tighten those on there, make sure that's tight. These are pretty much locked together so they don't move, and it creates you want to create the proper distance. And here's the top. So we just put this on, and boom, just like that, as simple as that. And then we put our washers. You can put your washers on there like that. If I needed to take this off for any reason, right, I could just go boom, take it off, and put it right up over here, hang it up. So once again, put it on, lock it down, And I've already zeroed out the table, so that's pretty much the number one important thing you're going to do here. And then I'm just going to drill some finger holes here just to show you how stable the press is. And nice and easy to slide. I just made some basic lines here just to kind of, for an example. We got our knobs. And one thing I wanted to point out too is if you look at the distance on each side, it's very, very minimal. If you can see that, right? You don't need a huge gap right here. You just need enough that when you tighten the top knobs down, it's going to put some pressure on the ball. That's all you're looking for. You're not looking to just vice this thing down where the aluminum starts to bend. It's going to take a lot to bend, but you don't need to go crazy on that. So here we go. All right. So you got your knobs on there. I also shortened the rods too to 8.5 inches. I believe I had 9, I think it was 9 inches, 9.5 inches. A little bit too long, so it took forever to screw these things down. So I made it 8.5 inches, which makes it a lot easier when you're taking off the top plate or you're unscrewing these or screwing them, tightening them, whatever. All right, so let's get our pitches in there first. So we're gonna go 5/16 table forward. These are my pitches, by the way. And we got 3/8 table left. Okay. And all we're gonna do is just line it up. And one of the problems with the O-ring was it was a little bit stiff when you're trying to adjust the ball, and you can see I'm barely putting any kind of pressure on there, and it slides pretty easily when I need to adjust it. Okay. And I didn't decide to cut the edges because I like to place like razor blades down here, for example, when I'm just resting it. And if I made that short, it kind of barely be hanging on. So you can always put stuff in here if you're working on this, and it makes it a little bit easier. And that's it, right? You're not looking to just vice grip it down. It's in there tight. It's not moving. It's hitting the top here. We'll do that one a little bit tighter there. And let's do it. So we're going to drill a hole. We're going to do a 2-inch hole here. I got the RPM set to 460. And I'm pushing down pretty good. I'm already an inch and a half. There's an 1.75 inches. There's 2 inches. There's 2.5, right? I'm going fast on purpose to show you how durable this is. I don't normally go that fast, but as you can see, the ball did not move one bit. All right, we're gonna quickly do the middle finger here. And our middle finger is 5/16 table right. And we got 5/16 forward, which we're already set, and we'll line it up. We'll get our razor out here, and I'm not being super picky, and just for time, I'm just gonna get this lined up and drill a hole. That's all I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna do the Jopo next to show you doing thumbs and fingers here. All right. Okay. All right, right on the line. Right on the line. Okay, here we go. Here's ring finger. So as you can see, no jig vibration whatsoever. I'm at an inch, inch and a quarter, inch and a half, inch and 3/4, 2 inches, and there's 2.5. Okay. We have no visible vibration from the jig. We'll take that out. And I'm gonna get a generic, I'm not gonna use my Jopo for this because I'm gonna go pretty fast, but I'm gonna use a 1.5 inch bit. And all you gotta do is just loosen these up a little bit so you can rotate it. And let's see, my thumb is a 1/4 table back. Okay. And we're going 1/16 table left. All right. And then all we're gonna do is line this up. Okay, that's good enough for me. I'm not trying to go super exact. Just trying to showcase the jig. All right, so here we go with the Jopo. Or I should say 1.5 inch bit for the thumb. The Jopo is the same one, just with a collar. I'm at 1.5 inches, 1 3/4, 2 inches. Two and a half, 2 3/4. And that's it. So I went to about 3 1/4 right now. Don't need to go all the way down. You get the point. Like I said, I don't normally go that fast. When I'm drilling my ball, I take my time, but once again, just wanted to showcase. All right, so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna show you the size. All right, so let's get this situated up over here. I've got 1.475, 1.476. Your holes are always going to be smaller than the actual size, right? Loosen those up. And so one thing you could do here is, boom, slide that off. Got that hanging up over here. And absolutely no marks on the ball. No marks on the bottom of the ball. All right. So one thing I'm going to show you is the finger hole sizes now, okay? 9.68 is equivalent of 31/32. We got 0.94 or 954. 0.958. All right. So pretty exact on the holes. And that's it. So that's a demonstration using the jig. As you saw, no vibration. I pushed that down pretty hard. The next one, let's see. I'm gonna try, I don't have any plug balls right now, But the next thing I wanted to demonstrate was cutting down plugs on a plug ball with the actual plug cutter. All right, so one more thing I wanted to showcase with the jig was drilling out an existing JoPo. And so sometimes you can get a little bit of vibration. I'm going to test the new jig to see how it works. This is the first time I'm actually using the jig to drill this jig, version 2 jig, to drill out the JoPo. The old one did it fine, just got a little bit of chatter within the drill press, so I lowered the speed of the RPM down on the drill press to 260, and it got rid of that. So we're just going to test it out and make sure that it works perfectly good. I've got the JoPo centralizer here, and I've got the mill press set up for the XY axis for this ball. And so this just lines up, all the JoPo centralizer does is it lines up the hole, lines up your hole for the drill bit to fit in there absolutely perfect. So all I do is put that in, make sure it slides in perfectly. I take that out, and then I grab my 1.5 inch bit and tighten it down. And now I don't have to worry about doing multiple holes in here to get this JoPo completely out. Before, if you don't have a centralizer, it's kind of hard to get this exact. You're just sitting here, you know, going back and forth, trying to get this side perfect with that side, and the centralizer makes easy work of that. So we're going to showcase how easy it is to drill out an existing JoPo with a version 2 jig. And once again, I got 260 RPM. So you will hear a little bit of chatter anytime you're drilling out a hole that's bigger than the size, just smaller than the size of the bit, then you're going to get a little bit of chatter. As long as you keep the speed up, you're fine. Whoa! And so with JoPos or any kind of plastic, it does get caught on the bit. So just stop it and then take it off by hand. Otherwise it just gets in your way. And that's it. Gonna make a little bit of noise once it hits the bottom of the JoPo. That's okay. It brought that whole bottom part up. Okay. Looks like it wasn't glued in super good. Then I could probably just get out with a screwdriver because it popped out. Alright. So as you can see, jig didn't move. I did get a little bit of chatter, which is normal, but the jig did not move one bit. Take that off. And then you can pop this out just like that. And there it is. I mean, that's how cool the centralizer is. It gets the whole JoPo out on one swoop of that drill press. So pretty cool. So that shows how good the jig is. Very, very tough to get that out. And next thing I want to do is I want to showcase cutting down the plugs, but I don't, like I said, I don't have any plug balls, so I'll have to wait on that. Once again, there's the jig. If you have any questions about the jig, hit me up on YouTube. I'm going to have 9 available for sale. And this is what they look like here. I'm keeping one for myself. I also have the version 1 jig. If anybody, this is my old jig that I'm going to be selling as well too. So if anybody wants to save some money, I can sell them this one. That was my old one. Thinking maybe $450 for that with all the hardware, and everything you see here is going to be $620, shipping included. Now I'm going to be shipping via UPS. I had some problems with USPS. If you haven't heard in the news, they've been having a little bit of trouble. And I actually lost a jig. My first jigs that I was sending, I got one that was lost in the transit. It got destroyed. So I'm no longer using USPS, I'm using UPS. I have no problem. It's a little bit pricier, but I'm including that in the cost. So 620 bucks shipped to your door via UPS with tracking and all that stuff, and I take payment via the Venmo and PayPal. So hit me up on my YouTube and send me a message. Let me know if you want one or not. I have 9 available. I think I have 3 or 4 people that want one already that I'll be contacting that were on the list. Sorry for the wait. It was about a 3-week wait to get these, a little bit longer. The price went up a little bit more just because the added work that the machinist had to do, the extra hardware, and also aluminum is a little bit pricier with the tariffs. So unfortunately I had to raise the price a little bit on version 2. But I think you're getting a very high quality product that we've done a lot of testing with, and everything works perfectly good. It's going to be nice and easy to use. Also compatible for PSOs if you needed some kind of, if you need a backup bowling ball jig for your shop. This is a perfect one, and it'll fit all professional mill press tables. All right, so thanks for watching, everybody. If you made it through this all the way, thank you. Appreciate you watching. Hit a like, comment down below if you'd like one, and also hit the subscribe button. I'll be posting videos using my jig all the time. If you haven't seen my videos before, I use the version 1 jig, and now after today I'll be using version 2 jig, which is this one, and I'll showcase everything in action and how it's used. So thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate it. See you next time.